and from this channel, first video of the year called 2023. Now I'm sure that most of you have heard terminology such as resets, disclosure, and many more things. In the UK, there is a series of coordinated strikes, industrial action. Everything in this reality is a reflection. What is being reflected in external is just purely the pulling down of old structures. But what about disclosure? This is the first video I have made in 10 days because of the rawness and the internal processing I have had to do from the disclosure that came to me. It's a very uncomfortable feeling, and it was something I could not find the answers externally. I couldn't find a channel that even touched on this subject. And it became very clear that I'm not going to find the answers by listening to anybody else. I'm not going to find ready answers from anybody else. It is something I have to work out internally. And it is all about going within oneself. There's a recent short video by Anna Brown. I put it as a community post because it is such a simple message. Just to reiterate, it is, John 14:6. No one sees the Father except through the Son. And it is about going into the physical body, into the physicality, into the metaphysical within inside oneself. That is where you will find all the answers. The external world, and I have to say a big, big thank you. Throughout the existence of this avatar, what you would perceive as being your adversaries, your enemies, have actually been the greatest teachers. Where things have kept happening, repeat patterns, is because I have failed to recognize within oneself what those lessons are. But there comes this magic, this disclosure, and it is a disclosure. In other words, it is an opening up. Now, some of you will say, oh, the start of the year is January the 1st. By the calendar system that is generally agreed, the concept, yes, it is. I personally would take what I call Aries the 1st, March the 21st, as the start of the year, because it is where it crosses that halfway line, the equator line, with the movement of the sun. It carries on ascending. It's what is also known as Passover, because the sun passes over the equator. So as a recap, 20th of December, I started to get those sort of achy physical sensations of, oh, I'm coming down with the flu. But the experience of this last year of 2022, it's always been on a solstice and an equinox, had these same physical sensations of being like flu, and it's always been a transformation. So when this happened on the 20th of December, I thought, here we go again. I'm prepared for this from the experience of the last three, that this is not what it appears to be. This is some sort of internal reorganization. And I feel that doing the language lessons of the heart, even that really can't prepare you for, this is from a personal testimony perspective, it doesn't prepare you for what may come. In my case, it is the discovery that this entire physical being's existence was based on an entire fabrication and lie, and there is a real truth that has come through, to which I am the observer, I am the witness, and I am the experiencer with these two physical eyes. As a baby, when you first come into this physical world, you've actually got two principles going on here. You have the male principle, the pater, or the pattern. So think of that like the idea that is created. That is the pattern. Now, coupled to that, to bring it into this physical reality, it is the mater, or the mother principle, which is, the mater is the material. And like in these physical avatars, the union of the pater and the mater produces the physical manifestation, the physical creation in the form of a human being, a human vessel to operate through and experience this reality. So I'm grateful for the way things went, and what effectively was a swap of identities. A switch of two young babies. So all I have actually to go on is the first 9, maybe 10 days of the existence, but the experiences are recorded through the eyes of what is seen. And it's a very strange thing, but on a personal level, what you are actually getting is a reveal, a revelation, a disclosure that you can't find in the external. And the way this comes through also shows that it is outside of anything that external reality can do. It is a spiritual disclosure. It is something going on within inside oneself. And it takes time to process, hence there's been no video for about 10 days, because this has felt so raw. The Bible is basically like a computer handbook. It repeatedly plays out every day. It is not a one-off secular history. So, for example, the whole story about Noah and the flood, the waters coming from above, the emotions that well up, spill out as a physical manifestation through the eyes. They are the waters from above, because when you become a knower, it is because something has been revealed to you internally that you now know that you did not know before. Hence you become a knower and the waters start flowing from above. But don't feel shame. Don't try and stop it. Let it flow, because flow is fact, logic, and organic wisdom. It is an unfolding. It is also a trinity of three, the three magi. So what started I'm sorry. What started with those sensations on the 20th, then from the 21st, the winter solstice, up to the 25th, so a 3.5 day period basically, was a rebirth. The magi comes in the form of gold. Now what is the gold? It is around the heart. Look at what the symbol for gold is. It is AU. It is the start of the author, the authorship, the authentic. It's all going on internally. That is the gold. That is the spiritual armor of love that you now wear, that basically protects you from everything. The frankincense is, as the name suggests, it is forthright. It is inner sensation that you will feel inside yourself from these revelations that come through. And of course, the myrrh, the Maya, is the mirror, the external world compared to the internal world. It is the My-RH, it is in the blood of the physical avatar. That is what those three gifts are. It is nothing to do with the external world. If you want a biblical perspective on this, and I have to say that this is 100% absolutely true, and that is listen to Neville Goddard's experiences and his testimonies. In time, I will be able to give you personal variations on that, because we all have these individual experiences, because we all have unique paths, unique lives, but there are parallels, and it is sharing the parallels, sharing the experiences. So personally, it is a situation of coming to terms with the entire past was based on a lie, which is a very unpleasant feeling. It is, you are really going through that draining a swamp, and in the process you are resetting yourself, you are experiencing revelations, you are having disclosure within oneself. So 2023 is the year to break free, as Julia on Simplicity Revealed channel has said. It's a very good saying. Personally, I would call it year -1. I take 2024 to be year 0, when things will really happen and will be reflected in the external, but it is heading that way. But this is going to come down to frequency. What frequency you're on. It works, I find, also with music. So I can hear a piece of music, and if it is an interpretation by a particular orchestra and conductor, I will be aligning and attuning to the frequency of the interpretation of that conductor, and how that conductor interprets, say, a symphony, and then how it communicates, how well it communicates, and what I feel from that interpretation, because with another conductor it can come across in a slightly different way. A perfect example of this, I mentioned about the completion of the Bruckner's 9th Symphony on the 30th of November. Now, some of you out there were prepared to pay for me to go to that concert. I had to decline it. I appreciate the generosity and the kindness, but it would involve either getting a very expensive train fare or a flight, possibly staying in a hotel, and it would have been an indulgence. But I knew deep down that I didn't need to do that. That would have been a one-off experience. Yes, there would have been the human interaction, but it's the interpretation of that particular conductor and orchestra, which it comes down to the sort of saying of Muhammad does not go to the mountain comes to Muhammad. Well, it did, in the form of I was sent out the blue the recording of that performance, so I did not need to go at all. I have the recording, it is downloaded onto this phone, so I can hear it any time. I'm going to leave a review of that. Suffice to say that it will always have a place, because it is the first complete recording of the symphony in what is so far its closest to original form that it can ever be. And it does communicate, personally. But how beautiful it still came. And it is like everything in this reality. You become known to yourself. You identify that shadow side of yourself, that inner child that just needs to be loved, it just needs to be nurtured. It needs to be comforted, because that inner child is frightened by the slightest little change and will do everything to try and stay in a comfort zone to keep you safe. It is a natural physical reaction, but it is part of this experience to overcome that fear, that sense of doubt, that fear of the unknown, and being able to walk confidently into the unknown whilst nursing that inner child inside oneself. You are sons, S-U-Ns, of the Creator. Therefore you are gods, so start acting and being as a god. And know that nothing in this external world can harm you. It is just a mind construct that is held together by frequency. But your internal frequency will determine how you interact and walk within these two worlds, the internal world and the external world. It is down to you to find it within yourself. I could give a great long list of channels that I would recommend listening to, but for me the greatest impact would be Neville Goddard. But I would also look to Edgar Cayce, I would look to Rudolf Steiner, I would look to Alan Watts. I would listen to those and many more. That's just basically on the New Thought writers aspect. But I find I can also hear it in music. I was awoken the other day to, actually it was was it yesterday or the day before? I was awoken to a beautiful piece of music by Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach. And I thought, oh, that sounds so familiar. And it brought back memories from those first 9 days when my mother would have put a gramophone record on, the state-of-the-art hi-fi system of the day, all beautifully encased in like a wooden cabinet. It was just wonderful, and I never realised how that had stuck. And when I consider that Haydn, Mozart, Beethoven and Schubert all held C.P.E. Bach in the highest regard, and there is definitely a communication, and I'm grateful for having that memory come back. It's incredible to think that somewhere in there, buried so deep, are photographic images that the eyes have recorded, sounds that the ears have heard, and also in the case of the music of Bach will have come from being within the womb, and the sounds that I would have heard before coming out as a physical avatar into this reality. So it's a wonderful experience. It is a wonderful disclosure, an experience, and something and I can now testify to and speak about. So basically, if you have been adopted and you're struggling with that one, if you are going through the experience of anxiety and depression, panic attacks, things of that nature, come and talk to me. Drop me a message in the comments or whatever, and I can share my experience and how I've overcome all these things, and how I have basically gone through a rebirth. Now, I don't care what anybody thinks of what I'm saying here. I'm just sharing my personal experience. It's up to you whether you believe it. But do I say I hope you find it for yourself? Because some of it will seem very unpleasant, and it's something to sit with. Let it pass through you. Let it just flow. Acknowledge it. Embrace it. Those what can seem like unpleasant feelings, just be the observer. Sit back from yourself and just observe. And acknowledge those feelings and let them pass. Because just like the flood and the flood waters from above, it will just drifts away. You'll go with a new flow. It will open up new potential, new possibilities, new awareness, new sights about this reality, and that it is just a divine comedy. And there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that can harm or hurt you unless you allow doubt and fear to creep in. That is going to be determined by how much inner work you have done on yourself and coming to the realization of who you are. And the answer to that is I am. It is I am given in a contrasting world of Maya, which is M-I-A. So between the I am and the Maya is to find the intention, which is the aim, the A-I-M. Find that inside yourself, your moral compass, your internal guidance system. Walk with that, and you can walk in both worlds quite easily. And you are safe in the knowledge that you are protected, you are surrounded in love, because you generate it out from your heart. It is your own self-protection. Nothing can harm you because you'll just reflect it back. It will bounce off. It all starts in a frequency. So you just bounce that frequency back. It won't penetrate your inner world when it is at peace. When you have found that inner peace, there is nothing that can disturb that. It is the ultimate in what all religions profess about finding that, what's the word, euphoric bliss, contentedness. Because it's not about being on an all-time high and trying to maintain that. It is about being in the present, observing. It is about being in the moment and being content, not holding these mind-thought creations of I'm lacking this, I'm lacking that, I haven't got this, I haven't got that. Well, yeah, you won't have it if you're thinking that way, because that is the energy you're putting out. The external of you will tune to that frequency, or if you allow the doubt and fear, you will be tuned to that external frequency. So would you not rather be in control of your vessel and be setting the frequency within oneself so the external will match your frequency? It is taking control of your own reality bubble and, by extension, the external world around you. And what I hope that you will find is you'll look at that external world, you'll realize that most of it is just gossip and hearsay. Hearsay is heresy, which is heretics. Because how much do you know to be true? How much is just gossip and hearsay? Oh, I heard it on the news. I heard it from someone else. This is supposed to be happening over there. That's going on over in some far distant land. All these rumours of war, like it says in Revelations. Do you know it to be true? Or is it just a story that is trying to emit a feeling from you? See how you can change this reality just by how you feel about it, because what opens up is a magical world, what Anna Brown has described in her latest video as heaven in disguise, because it really is. If you can't see the natural beauty and what will be called the supernatural power that to operate within it, well, I suggest you do more inner work, because it will be revealed to you when you are on the right frequency. And it is not something that you earn. It just happens. It comes like a thief in the night, as it says in biblical passages and things, at a time known only to one. That's something deep within inside you. It unlocks. You could say that you are chosen. You've been chosen. where does the free will come into this? Who knows the appointed time? It is just something that clicks in at the right time. When you have reached a certain level, a certain frequency, it opens up new possibilities, new revelations, and it becomes something absolutely wonderful. So I am grateful for every experience that this avatar has gone through. And I can separate myself from the avatar and recognize what is just external experiences and lessons to learn from in this thing called life, and what is the real essence inside. So just as a recap again, if you're going through anxiety, depression, being in what you would consider being in a victim situation, then come and talk to me. I can hopefully talk you through it and give you a new doorway into a new perception. It is going to be down to you to do the work. I can only guide from my own testimony and my own experience of what I've been through, and if you feel it will help you, the door is open. Now that is when one door closes, another one opens. So if you close the door to doubt and fear, it opens an open heart to share experiences and help others, because it is hard. The emotions are, I can feel it now, the eyes are, but I'm a man, I'm not supposed to cry, it's a sign of weakness, is it? Or is it a sign of being authentic self? So I'm not letting it stop. If the tears come out, which the eyes are welling up, maybe there's not quite enough there yet. Maybe I can overcome it and control it, but it is a cleansing process. It is the flood that you need to go through. And here we go. Just let them roll. Let it pass through. I mean, FFS, because I'm not going to swear. I know it's a judgment on the words, but why should I feel shame about letting tears roll? It's a cleansing process. There is no shame to be felt about it. It is authentic expression. You try and stop it when it comes. There's no way of stopping that flood. But it is not tears of sorrow. It is tears of release. It is a letting go. It is part of this experience. Let the feelings come. Let pass. And it gets easier and easier, and you get to see the beauty in it. Anyway, wow, we're up to nearly half an hour already, so I didn't know how this video was going to go. I hadn't really planned anything. I thought I'd just speak it as it comes, let it flow. So I hope that has given you some sort of new clarity, a sort of like disclosure about the year. I mean, what is a year really? It's just a concept. Every day is a start of a new day, a new year. It's just a measurement after all. But there is only the moment, and each moment is a new moment, and there is a wonder to be found, both internally and externally. It just depends what frequency you're in and what doors you've left open, what doors you've closed. And being able to have the confidence to step into the unknown with no fear, and in that secure and safe in that knowledge that you, and that feeling that you have this spiritual armor of love that is surrounding you and nothing can harm you. So I will say love to you all, and have a beautiful, beautiful day, no matter what time of day it is, and wherever you are physically, geographically. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Find that gold within oneself. Find those three gifts. It is all something that is going on inside you after all, which this is just a mind construct, this external world, and it's just held together by frequency and thought, but you can interact with it and you can overwrite it, and you can have heaven on earth quite easily. But it's down to you to find it within and unlock it within inside yourself. So I hope that has helped at least one of you out there. Let me know what you think in the comments. Love to you all. Mwah.